What's up, everybody? How's it going? Uh, 40k RPG time. Haven't done a 40k RPG video in a little bit. This is on the Deathwatch, and this is on the first founding book. Um, it's for Deathwatch, a supplemental book, and basically it's new. It's interesting how you order it though. I haven't really checked local bookstores or the local gaming stores to see if they have it in stock. But according to Amazon, if you try to get it from Amazon, and this has happened with a couple of other products, to my understanding, is it's up for pre-order. When I last checked, which was when I ordered this, and I last checked like a week ago, it still said pre-order for January. I've had this book, I'd say a couple of weeks now, and if you get it from Fantasy Flight Games Direct, it's ready to ship right away. So I don't know what the lag time issue is there with Amazon or whatnot, and I don't know how it is with other bookstores or your local gaming store. So I got it from Fantasy Flight directly. Now, what is it? The First Founding is a book that covers the four chapters, the four of the original Loyalist legions, if you will, from the Horus Heresy time period, the ones that remain loyal, that were not covered in the Deathwatch core book or in the Rites of Battle book. And it's specifically the First Founding. On top of that, there's added stuff there for the First Founding chapters that were already covered. So I'm going to go right into it. Get the map of Jericho Reach again. Golden symbol there. Contents, whatever, and right away, honor the chapter, we have Iron Hands, Raven Guards, Salamanders, and White Scars. This covers the remaining First Founding chapters. And the First Founding chapters are basically the parent chapters for any successor chapter out there. The Black Templars are parent chapter of the Imperial Fists, for example. And I forget who the Storm Wardens, or if it says who their parent chapter, who their parent chapter is, but they're a successor as well. So on and so forth. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Basically, the way this is set up, it's set up in a similar manner to how you see the chapters in the Deathwatch core book or Rites of Battle for the Imperial Fists. It is a bit more streamlined, meaning everything you need is in each chapter's little section. So what you get is the fluff, in this case the Iron Hands, and then you get what you need for the character, more fluff, you get chapter pasts, and sample names. Instead of having the pasts and the names be their own section, it's all encompassed in this section for this small little expansion book. You get the past, like I said, the names. Each chapter has a curse, the Primarch's curse, and I'm not going to go into what it is. Basically, it's a negative thing you can get over time, depending on what happens to your character. And these First Founding guys are no different. It also goes over their solo mode ability, squad mode abilities, their chapter advances, and their psychic powers and any chapter trappings if they have it. It's all encompassed. Instead of having it be, here, there, in like 2 or 3 different chapters like it is with the core book, it's all right in here, which is nice. So Raven Guard, cool picture by the way. One of the coolest Raven Guard pictures, artwork things I've seen really in a while, so that's pretty cool. Same thing with them, same setup. They actually have chapter trapping, so they have 2 to pick from. I'm running a game, has a Raven Guard in it, and he chose Helmet Pictor, so that would be pretty cool. Salamanders. Now, one thing I want to stop at real quick here is, with all these chapters, you're going to see them in their natural chapter colors, not in their Deathwatch colors. The Deathwatch colors are, as you can see on the cover of Deathwatch, black with a silver arm and your chapter symbol on the right shoulder pad. They're showing you the actual colors of the chapter itself, which is pretty cool. I like that because in the event you run, let's say, a Salamander only game, now everybody knows what they look like. Same setup for them. One thing I didn't cover, the Raven Guard get a new talent, Guerrilla Training. Salamanders get a new talent, Artificer. Iron Hands don't get any new talent. And we have the White Scars, which is the last of the 4. Same setup, they get a new talent as well, Born in the Saddle. And then we move on to Chapter 2, which is Chapters Due, and it rhymes. We see Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Imperial Fists, Space Wolves, Ultramarines, the other first founding guys. Now, wait a minute, they were already covered in their respective books. That's true. What we're getting here is extra coverage for them, some added bonus stuff for these guys, which is pretty cool. So what we get is it goes over new advanced specialties, new chapter pasts, alternate solo mode abilities. So what we get, and it's going to be the same layout, we get a bit of fluff for the chapter in question. Then we go right into an advanced specialty. In this case, it's the Blood Angels Furioso, if I can say it correctly, the Furioso Dreadnought. We go over what it takes to become a Furioso Dreadnought, the armament that they get, their profile, their advances they can choose from, and their war gear and special rules. It also goes over the ability to make a Librarian Dreadnought. Now, I personally, you can do whatever you want with these advanced specialties. I personally would make the Librarian Dreadnought accessible to other chapters, who have other players who are librarians who are not of the Blood Angels, just because I don't see a reason other chapters cannot have Librarian Dreadnoughts. Also, I think it's cool. Anyway, then we have the Sanguinary Priest advanced specialty, which, is for apothecaries of the Blood Angels. We get the additional pasts, solo mode ability, squad mode abilities, and the new oath they can take. It's something for squad leaders. I'm not going to go into it here, but they take an oath. Here we have Dark Angels, who are my favorite. And I think this is one of the few color pictures we get of Ezekiel, actually. So that's pretty cool. Hope he gets better rules in the new Dark Angels Codex whenever that comes out. Anyway, we have advanced specialties here. Ravenwing Veteran you can become. You become a Deathwing Terminator, which is pretty cool. They get a new talent, Deathwing Assault. Ravenwing, they get the stuff that they have, but not necessarily a talent. More pasts, solo and squad mode abilities, and a new oath they can take. The Imperial Fists, they don't get anything advanced specialty-wise. If you're wondering, hey, that's not fair, well, in all honesty, we're giving stuff here to chapters that have something specific and special and different. The Imperial Fists don't really have a special squadron or a special formation within their chapter, so they get solo mode ability, squad mode ability, and a new oath. Space Wolves, what we get from them is the Wolf Scout, which is a bit different than other regular scouts, and we get the Wolf Priest, which is cool because the Wolf Priest is different from a regular chaplain, so I like that they included that in here. That's pretty cool. More stuff again, additional rules. The Ultramarines, they get Tyrannic War Veterans. Makes a lot of sense. That's also pretty cool. I don't remember, this is actually one of the models, it looks like. Well, not exactly one of the models, but one of the models that kind of derived that they used to sell of Tyrannic War Veterans with this type of look with the U and the chest and everything. I wonder if they're still available. I don't know, because they're pretty cool looking models. Their other advanced specialty they get is Honor Guard. Now I said Imperial Fist don't have anything special. Well, they make mention in terms of Honor Guard that if the GM allows it, the guy running the game, other chapters can take this advanced specialty. It's an Ultramarine specific, and the GM can allow other players to take the Honor Guard if, maybe subbing out some certain requirements and maybe changing up a little bit of stuff here if they want to. Basically, to represent that other chapters have Honor Guards themselves. This is not just an Ultramarine thing, but the Ultramarines are probably the most well known for it. So that's pretty cool. And not lastly, but another thing we come across is the Traitor Legions. Now, you don't get rules of them here. That's in the Black Crusade to play a Chaos Space Marine. But what we get here is a little bit of fluff on them, and a fluff on the specific legions and their activity basically in the Jericho Reach, or anything about it. So Alpha Legions, the Imperial Children, well, Alpha Legion The Emperor's children, not the Imperial. So I don't know why I fumbled over that one. I think it's lack of sleep. So Alpha Legion, Emperor's Children, Night Lords, which is pretty cool. We have World Eaters. They have a little NPC you can use as like a big bad guy. We have the Death Guard, who have an NPC you can use as a big bad guy, plus psychic power. We have the Thousand Suns, one of my favorite Traitor Legions, probably my favorite Traitor Legion, with an NPC and a psychic power. And all of these NPCs have like a little blurb about using them, like suggested ways you can use them in a campaign against your party. Then we have Word Bearers, who have nothing special. Black Legion, nothing special. Iron Warriors, who also have an NPC. And last thing I'm going to talk about kind of in depth is Chapter War Gear. We get a new special quality Proven, which is pretty cool. And I'm not going to go into it here. Then we have a Chapter Armory for ranged weapons, melee weapons, armor, and then other war gear. And a lot of these are chapter specific. A lot of these, pretty much, if you're not of that chapter, you can't use them. The ones that say Deathwatch, I'm going to assume, because I didn't see anything specific when I read through it pretty quickly. I'm going to assume if it says Deathwatch, anybody can use it. That's a Space Marine of the Deathwatch. We also get Followers, which some of them are chapter specific as well. And they go over having hordes of followers as well and creating new followers. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And then we have the Chapter is All. It goes over chapters within the Deathwatch and chapter campaigns and complications you can do with that. And then we have Trader's Dawn, which is kind of like a little adventure included in this book, which is pretty cool. So all in all, I think it's a great buy. If you have to only buy one book to supplement Deathwatch, I honestly would recommend Rites of Battle, because you get more in it. You get the ability to make your own chapters, you get a lot more war gear, you get the rules for vehicles for Space Marines in it as well, and advanced specialties that anybody can take if they meet the requirements. So it's a little bit more universal, but this is a very good book. If you had to get two books aside from Core, this would be the other one I would recommend. There is a book I have called Mark of Xenos, which gives you more NPCs, but quite honestly, to throw out your party, but quite honestly, this I think is a better buy than that. It's very cool. Now, one thing I do wish it gave us is some advanced specialties for the first founding chapters in this book. Meaning, for example, the Iron Hands. The Iron Hands have Iron Fathers, which are not chaplains solely. They're kind of like a chaplain tech marine hybrid. It would have been cool to see an advanced specialty for that in this book. It'll probably come out later. I would have liked to see it here. I can't think of anything else specifically for the other 3 chapters in the book, but just I would have liked to see a little bit more given to us for the chapters represented in this book solely, because we get more stuff for the chapters represented in other books. But I mean, I do like the fact that all the chapters are now represented for the first founding. You don't have to worry about, well, how would Iron Hands work? How would Salamanders work? No need to worry about that anymore. You got it. You can always make it up yourself, but I like to have the official rules here, especially since Rites of Battle has the way to make successor chapters. It's nice to have all the first founding represented and ready to go. So, not a required book. If you're a GM, it's good to have to give your players more options to have a more diverse party. And if you are not a GM but a player, you can bring it up to your GM if you want to buy the book and be like, listen, can I use a chapter from this book instead? They should have no problem with it, in my opinion. So that is it, and until next time, take it easy.